Now, we're counting down to Cheltenham every week on Thursdays. At this time, Thom Malone joins us to talk to us about what we should be planning for now, any market moves that we might be able to get on before the rest of the public wakes up to it. Thom, good morning to you. How are you?
Hey, Joe. How are you? You well?
Yeah, so what are we, 7 weeks out now?
Yeah, less than 49 days now. I think we're 47 days. This day 7 weeks. We'll be looking forward to the stairs hurdle. So we'll be in the thick of it by then. But yeah, it was 7 weeks on Tuesday there. So yeah, very close, especially when you think that a lot of trainers won't kind of run their horses within 6 weeks of the festival. So it's probably between now and kind of the Dublin Racing Festival, that'll probably be the last chance we'll get to see any runners, particularly in the Grade 1 races, who will go and compete in Cheltenham.
Okay, well look, let's talk about it's the Champion Chase is what you're focusing on this week. This is your favourite race of the festival, I'm reliably informed. What is the Champion Chase? What distance? What type of horses?
Yeah, this is the 2 mile Champion Chase. It's my favourite race. It is flat out, just jumping at full tilt. A little bit of stamina comes into play, but really like the superstars of the game over the years, Sprinter Sacre, Altior, the likes of Moscow Flyer in the day, Flagship Liberales, Azertiop, Size in Europe, an absolutely brilliant champion chaser as well. So 2 miles, feature race on Wednesday, the Queen Mother Champion Chase. And yeah, look, like I said, for me, it's the most exciting race of the festival. Some people will say the Gold Cup is their favourite race, but slow horses can win Gold Cups. Slow horses cannot win the Champion Chase. It's 2 miles, absolutely flat to the mat. You have to jump and you have to be quick. So yeah, I just absolutely love it. A lot of people would compare it to the sprinters of the athletics world.
I was actually going to say
2 mile Champion Chases. Yeah.
Well, it feels a little bit like if say the Gold Cup is the 1500 metres. Then this is the 400 metres hurdles, and it's pell-mell, hell for leather, no room for any mistakes.
Absolutely none. And I mean, that is just what, I think of horses like, say, Big Zeb over the years, how on earth he won this race. Barry Geraghty just gave him the ride of all time actually, Barry Geraghty did something similar as well with one of Nicky Henderson's. But you need to jump and get there. And you can't do like a champ and, be 20 lengths off coming to the second last and stay on up the hill. It's just phenomenal pace. And like I say, there is just very little room for error. Okay, so this year, who are the superstars that we're going to be looking for on Queen Mother Champion Chase Day? Well, amazingly, considering the success he's had over the years, Willie Mullins has actually never trained the winner of this race. And when you think of the horses he's had, the likes of Duvan, the likes of Andesso over the years, even Champagne Fever, he never kind of hit the heights over fences, even though he should have. He's never won this race. Duvan got beaten at nearly 1-5 in it one year, but he has Chacun Pour Soi, who's favourite. Of course, the problem with this race is that you end up with these big name horses, Altior, Sprinter Sacre, Chacun Pour Soi, and they kind of sometimes scare off the opposition. So last year we ended up with a Defi de Soy, really short price favourite in just a 5-runner field, because Chacun Pour Soi and Altior were both non-runners in the sort of lead up to the race. Again, Chacun Pour Soi is your favourite. He has actually done very little wrong since we saw him last. The question is Altior. He's about a 9-1 shot. Chacun Pour Soi is very warm with a favourite. He's going to run again at represent the Dublin Racing Festival. You expect him to win there. He's round about even money. There's a bit of odds against him places, and then it's sort of 10-1 bar. But it's very much about seeing whether Willie Mullins can actually get one of his big superstars to land at the Champion Chase, cherry ripe on the day in Chacun Pour Soi.
Why is Altior such a big price?
Altior is such a big price because he's been beaten twice in his last 3 runs, Altior's record is 15 out of 17 over fences, but he's now only won from his last 3. He stepped up to 2.5 miles last year, and he was beaten by Suriname. There was a big kind of hoo-ha about Suriname actually having a higher rating than Altior that a lot of people would have disputed, but then Altior stepped up and tripped. Now look, Altior is now 11. You have to go back to, I think, Moscow Flyer. The last time an 11-year-old won this race this century, and before Moscow Flyer, the last time was the late 70s when an 11-year-old won this race. So it's very rare. Also, we haven't seen Altior run. You know what I mean? He was beaten by Noob Negra at Christmas. That was in what should have been ideal conditions. For the first time ever, he's also been given an entry Ryanair chase, which suggests that connections, well, Nick at a point has said it already, that he does need to step up in trip, and he probably doesn't have that top-end pace he had before. He's looking like he's just a little bit slower in races, which is fine. But, you know, for a champion chase, if he's going to be a peak Chacun Pour Soi, the odds are very much against Altior, and that's why he is sort of a 9-10 to 1 shot.
Okay. As far as I can remember, the history of recent Cheltenhams is awash with a one horse at the top of the field that everybody anoints months in advance being turned over on the day.
Yeah, well, that's like I say, like last year, Chacun Pour Soi, he actually travelled to Cheltenham. He's only actually been to Cheltenham once, and that was last year, and he picked up a stone bruise, which is just one of the most innocuous, annoying injuries a horse can get, because they're literally fine 24 or 48 hours later. So they're just they're very, very irritating. Again, Defi de Soy in this race, he's 33 to 1 for it right now. He was 2 to 5 favourite. So, you know, you put on a 5, you only win €2. You know, for this race last year when I ended up a 5-runner race. And we looked down the field, you got Politolog, he won it last year. He was beaten at the weekend down the Clarence House Chase by a horse called First Flow, who's very much an up-and-coming force in the 2-mile chasing division. He's intriguing. He's won his last 6 in a row now, progressing up through the ranks. So that's a really nice little story as well. He's trained by Kim Bailey. Kim Bailey's last Grade 1 winner was in 1995. So quite a long time between drinks for him. But yeah, incredible for Kim Bailey to have to wait that long for another Grade 1 winner. But like, I mean, a brilliant trainer. He trained a champion hurdle national winner in the 90s as well. But yeah, First Flow is intriguing. But one I would certainly look to at a price, a horse called Notebook, who was one of those beaten short price favourites last year at Cheltenham in the Arkle. He was actually beaten by a stablemate, Put the Kettle On. But at 20 to 1, I definitely think Notebook could be one. Look, he might beat Chacun Pour Soi. He finished second to him at Leopardstown last time out, and I'd certainly think at 20 to 1, because I know you love me to tip up something at a big price. That he's one we could tip up each way.
Okay. How far is the Arkle? What distance does that run over?
Well, the Arkle is the sort of novice event for this. So the Arkle is also a 2-mile chase for the novices. That's what Ishkin is going to be a really warm water favourite for this year. That's what Put the Kettle On won last year. She's actually stablemate of Notebook, and she's actually has an incredible record at Cheltenham. She's 3 from 3, but it is a little unheralded. Okay.
What else happened last weekend that we should be looking at? You mentioned First Flow there. Anything else going on that kind of is beginning to influence people's thoughts this far out?
Well, I think First Flow was the main problem we've had with racing over the last couple of weeks. Has been so little of it, particularly in Ireland. We're going to have a rescheduled Estes chase today. First Flow really burst onto the scene, that story with Kim Bailey. And there's kind of not been a massive amount else positive going on in the world of racing, thanks to this Charles Burns saga that's kind of running and running. Intriguingly, RT will be at Gorin today for the Estes, and Charles Burns will have a runner. So it's a very short price favourite as well. So intrigued to see if that wins live in the telly and Charles gets interviewed afterwards.
Yeah, or declines the opportunity to speak. Right, was there one last thing that we need to talk about there? Royal Pagal, did we talk about that?
Royal Pagal, sorry. Yes, this is a fascinating horse who is trained by Venetia Williams, who carries the very famous Rich Ritchie colours. And he won the Peter Marsh at Weatherby last weekend, at Haydock last weekend, rather, which is a sort of tradition, used to be back in the day, a traditional Gold Cup trial, but has really phased out of fashion in the last sort of 15, 20 years. Anyway, this horse has gone and absolutely hosed up. He's still a novice, but he's very experienced over fences. He's trained by Rich Ritchie, but he's owned by Venetia Williams. So normally those horses are trained by Willie Mullins, and he's a novice, so he should be going for the RSA or the 4-miler. But it's highly unlikely that Rich Ritchie's already got Monkfish. He's favourite for the RSA. I'd be intrigued. I doubt he's going to go over 4 miles, so he could have the prospect of a novice running in the Gold Cup, which is always exciting. Intriguingly, he's run more fences than he's a full season stage. and he might be making an appearance this weekend in Trials Weekend at Cheltenham.
Tom, good stuff. We'll leave it there. Thanks a million for joining us this morning. Apologies for the quality of the line there, but that's the vagaries of Skype. 22 minutes past 9 here on OTB AM. We'd love to hear from you. 0879 180 180. We're with you all the way through until 10 o'clock.